About today's deck. Yeah. I I know we have 14 cards. I always feel weird counting the sideboard cards for stuff like this, but okay. So let's go back a little bit of history on the term scam. Some people believe that the term scam, that's now referred mostly to the Flickering Solitude, Flickering Grief, Flickering Fury with Ephemerate, Feign Death, these kind of cards. Some people think that the acronym stands for Stoneforge Card Advantage Mystic. Kind of referring to the initial black-white builds of this deck that had no card advantage at all and just played Stoneforge Mystic as their source of card advantage. Now, and it is still true that there is not a good black or white card that gives you card advantage in a deck like this, which is in some ways a big reason why scam decks are Rakdos, because you get to play cards like Seasoned Pyromancer, Fable of the Mirror Breaker, cards that are going to give you some important card advantage. Now there is a really good card advantage spell available to Orzhov in the Ring. And I think it's very interesting to pair the Ring in a shell with eight pitch spells like this. I think Ring with pitch spells is very good. You're drawing a lot of cards. You want to be able to pitch Solitude, pitch Grief to use those cards effectively. And what's very cool too is that Brought Back is a really premium card to scam your Grief and your Solitudes. And what's cool is that this is going to be able to turn 2 a lot of the time. Bring back a Grief, bring back a Solitude, and bring back a fetch land, or bring back 2 fetch lands to let you play Ring on turn 3. And so having access to turn 3 rings on the back of Brought Back, I think is very interesting. Additionally, also just kind of in general, Ephemerate Brought Back much higher card quality than Feign Death, Malika Rebirth, these kind of effects. I also really think it's cool that in the 2 mana slot we have 12 instant speed spells. So on turn 2, if we're holding up 2 mana, that can mean we have Bowmasters, that can mean we have Brought Back, or that means we have Reprieve. And makes things a little bit more difficult for opponents to play around. We're also playing a Dam. I mostly just kind of want to play with the card a little bit more. It's been a while since I've played it. Not sure if this may need to be a Fatal Push, and the 4th Thoughtseize may need to be a Fatal Push too to have more 1-mana interaction. But either way, they need to be black cards. I think 16 black spells for Grief is pretty important. I can sometimes get away with less blue cards for Force of Negation, less white cards for Solitude. That's often because you don't need to pitch them on turn 1. With Grief, you really need to be able to pitch at turn 1. So we're up to 16 here. I would really like to play Leyline Binding over Thoughtseize, and I just couldn't figure out a way to play Brought Back, Reprieve, and Leyline Binding. It's you basically need, if you're gonna play the bindings over this, then one of these 2 cards needs to be a black card, or you could do a split. But sadly, no binding in the shell. I think that's okay. Let me see. There's anything else? I mean, getting access to Reprieve, Hallowed Moonlight gives you so much counter magic style action in a deck like this, which I think is really exciting against decks like Living End, Rhinos, Yawgmoth, Creativity, which I think is interesting. I'm also playing a ton of Break the Ices in the sideboard. This may be unnecessary, but I think this deck is gonna have a really hard Tron matchup, and Tron is definitely back up on the upswing. And I kind of wanted to either dedicate some sideboard slots to Burn or Tron, because I feel those were 2 weakness spots for the deck, and I decided to just kind of focus on beating Tron. I think you can play just 3 Break the Ice, but the deck seems like it's gonna have a hard time beating Tron without the playset, to be honest. Is Silent Clearing? Ooh, Silent Clearing. Okay. I like this hand a lot. We can go either turn 2 Scam Grief and bring back a fetch, or hold up Reprieve, or get 2 fetches back. Well, that would have been preferred to be on the play. Feels like too many fetches. You have to play 12 fetches with Brought Back, I think, or at least 11. Oh, also, okay, there's so much to talk about in the deck tech. The Brought Back can also reset your rings, theoretically. If you Legend Roll rings, tap, you get to... I guess it doesn't... No, never mind. You don't get the protection from everything. There is... And then, if you're going to Legend Roll the ring, you've already brought 1 back. So never mind. Okay, we're gonna Grief Ephemerate. Think Murktide should be playing 1 ring? I don't think so. I think you should be playing... Your deck, Murktide's goal is to be low to the ground, have lots of cheap counter spells, I think, right now. Okay, so we'll take, I guess we have to take Solitude, and then we'll take the Pure Steel Paladin, and if they want to Surge of Salvation next turn and use a mana, it's kind of the same thing as Grief taking the Surge of Salvation. Yeah, no Edgar Charm Groom somehow. Didn't quite make the cut. Carson Duty Math and Color Card for scam purposes. I mean, it shouldn't be that different from, like, the Force of Negation article. That being said, like, I typically feel like for Grief, like, I don't like to play less than 16. I don't like to play less than 16 if possible. Because, like, I think you really want to be able to play it on turn 1. Yeah, I do think I'm going to go for a, just brought back Rampant Growth here. But with Solitude, Force of Negation, I typically don't mind doing a little bit less. Kebab with the 21 months, thank you. Let's just hold up Reprieve here. Could have played a second Grief. We're pretty ahead. I think we could just chill. You think about Just Guy Ascendancy combo with One Ring, Fate Stitcher getting a tap ring is kind of fun. I mean, it sounds like really, like, Woodmore, but that's not kind of fun, I agree. Ooh. Well, Reprieve Grief is kind of a combo. Is this literally Splitter Twin? Put the card back in the hand, take it with Grief. That's a combo. Alright, so I don't have a lot of sideboard cards for Hammer in this build, kind of thinking that being a Solitude Ephemerate deck is going to be kind of my plan. Ring is pretty good against them too. I'm going to bring in the second copy of Damn. The Bowmasters are also, I think, nice in the matchup. Lost to Legend is a card I was not sure about. It's a bit awkward that you can't Lost to Legend a Saga, but it does get rid of Kaldra, it does get rid of their hammers. I think we should be bringing them in. And then you could even play 1 or 2 copies of Break the Ice. Let's probably play 1 copy, and then get the Reprieves out of here. Could maybe cut the third Shieldred, or third Shieldred for second Elish Norn. Norn is pretty good against them. It turns off, like, their Paladin. With Elish Norn to play, I guess it turns off the Paladin draw, but they can still equip with Paladin, but they can't Sigard his aid. Maybe a little slow, probably don't want to. Let's play 3 Shieldred. Could pitch to Grief. Conceded early, could still win with Sigard his aid top deck. Yeah, it was a little bit of an early concession. Okay, no black card for Grief. Let's mulligan this on the draw. Could maybe keep that on the play. Okay, so easy keep here. Solitude Ephemerate is so premium against them. I could just put back the Grief. I'm not sure that this is going to be a final option, but like Tron is like currently kind of popular and like very good against us. So is brought back just a slower scam card that can also get back lands. Like we're playing that over black Undying cards. Yes, and the fact that and being able to play lands letting you ramp into Yeah, I guess I can. Yeah, let's take 1. Bowmaster the Sentinel, take a hit from Kaldra, and then plan to Solitude Ephemerate the Stoneforge and the Germ Token. Has Bowmaster been upgraded from Paperclip to Staple? Maybe not quite Staple, but I'm definitely much higher on it than I was in my video. Turn 1 Blood Moon, good username, thank you for your resubscription. If we draw a land, we also get to Break the Ice the Saga next turn. Would Sinkhole be fine in Modern? It would be, like, I think, incredibly unfun. I think it's just, like, not the kind of card that makes mini games of Magic better. Why main phase Bowmaster? They got protection spells for their Sentinel. Isn't Bowmaster getting more value because the ring is literally the Hogak? Yeah, that's a part of the reason why Bowmaster is better. But Bowmaster is also just, like, a really good card. It is definitely a better card than I expected it to be. I wonder if we ever... No, I think we... Yeah, I think we do not Break the Ice. We'll use the Solitude Ephemerate this turn. And then let's... I think if we attack, it's a bit obvious what we have, so let's maybe not make it that obvious. I always agree with my basic land choice. Swamp baffles me. My basic land choices are usually random, so... You've been agreeing with the RNG of the basic lands. Okay, so let's go for it now. So this way my opponent can't use a protection spell this turn. Just double brought back. I don't have double white, unfortunately. It would have been double brought back would have been awesome. I would say the ring is more like the new Uro Oko because mid-range card goes in every shell. Yeah, I think that this may be a better comparison. Although, like, it can also be a good combo card, like we've seen. So, it's a pretty unique card. I don't know that it's really a one-for-one comparison to anything that we've seen before. They get a Shadow Spear. Hope has gone before the Modern PT. It would be, I think, a huge mistake to make a banning with deck lists are due 1 month from today. I don't know. It's way too early for the banning. I think I have to evoke the Grief. It's just so bad for me if my opponent has a Paladin in their hand. They pay 3 life for Emeria. Where did they draw? They must have drawn Paladin, right? Bowmaster doesn't have synergy. In this deck, Bowmaster has synergy with Elishnorn and Ephemerate. It's also really nice that you can also brought it back sometimes, like flash it in, block, bring it back in the same turn on 4 mana. I also really like the Bowmaster. If you play Bowmaster, Brought Back, and Reprieve, you have 12 2-mana instant speed plays, and you also have Ephemerate too, so you have a lot of like things you could be doing at instant speed. Okay, Hardcast Solitude. Did miss that. It's okay though. Not really too bothered. But Bowmasters is also just a good card. I've really kind of come around on the card, and I now just kind of think it's a card you want to be playing. Okay, we're gonna need to draw a land. Hopefully this turn. If we do, we're probably in good shape. But like, it's kind of like I know that you've been or people have been seeing. Okay, too bad you can't Lost the Legend Urza Saga. Although I had suggested that you should be able to. Although I think it's a little bit awkward that hitting artifact lands, maybe a little too good. Maybe not. Any more time to think about Reprieve could work in Reanimator? I mean, no, not really. Like, at the very least, it's not something that I'm intentionally thinking a lot about, if that makes sense. It's like, Reprieve is just like it's just like a fringe like role player, if that makes sense. It's like something that you are going to play in some decks, because you're interested, like you're in white and you want a remand. You'll play it in some decks if you're playing white and you want to play a remand. And it's to me it's like just not that interesting in Reanimator, but you could play it there for sure. Doc the 40 months, thank you. And it is better than Remand. It is like significant. It is like marginally more than marginally, less than significantly better than Remand. We should be dead here. Just gonna give him 3. I have a hard time imagining they don't just get a hammer. Okay, game 3. Any changes? Let's just run it back, I think. I think 9 Nazguls could work in a Heartless Summoning Shell with maybe Sauron. The ring mechanic seems to be quite strong. That would be like, that sounds incredibly fun. Sounds incredibly fun. Probably not Pro Tour level deck, but very fun. Yeah, deck decks should be available today, or are available today. We've mulled to 6. Let's put back the Thoughtseize. Should you play Reprieve in your Boros Scam deck? Maybe. I don't know exactly if the question is like brought back versus Obosh. That's kind of a difficult question to answer. There with the 5 months. Panda with the 37. Thank y'all. Is Lauren the third path? Lauren could be good. One issue I have with Lauren is that she doesn't exile. So like I'm playing Lost Legend, like largely because it exiles the One Ring. I want to have some ways to do that. All right. Well, sometimes you get mana tithed. I'm going to be able to fetch my second planes for Ephemerate, I think. They salted the Shieldred. Thank you, Rod. Yeah. Please consider staying subscribed while I'm in July. So, because if I need to hit a certain level to get a better split from Twitch. And also, you know, only counts for paid subs, blah, blah, blah. But just consider it, please. Okay, I'm gonna get an upkeep stop here so we can respond to the Ephemerate by casting an Orcish Bowmasters. Pretty good turn 3. Pretty good turn 3. Dang. Let the Evoke resolve first rebound. My opponent's playing Hammer. Am I really supposed to be like playing around Ephemerate? I guess, like, it's just fine, but it's just, like, not on my radar at all. No name with the 17 months, thank you. What are my thoughts regarding Break the Ice? Tron with the One Ring has become a lot more popular than it has been, and Tron is, like, an unwinnable matchup without the Break the Ices, I would think. So let's, like, I'm just trying to win the unwinnable matchup, maybe. Which isn't always right. Third Surge. Fine. Okay, no name with the 17. All with the Twitch Prime, thank you. Spies, the 14 months. What should you cut for those? What is this? I don't know. I don't know. I got a stream going on. Although, your main deck currently lets you play Obosh, and you're not playing Obosh, so... I know you have some even cost sideboard cards. Obosh is definitely worth it for game 1s. So I would figure that out before worrying too much. Ooh. Are you supposed to play Saga turn 1 or 2, turn Hammer? Usually turn 1. Sorry, usually turn 2, but there's some hands that is it's better to play turn 1, but usually turn 2. No interest in casting the Bowmaster end of turn. Nope, not really. They've been impressive so far. Okay, we have Solitude Ephemerate. We don't have a white card, but let's try to keep this hand. I have a lot of cards draws that really improve us here. And then I think I'm going to play a fetch land turn 1 with, like, me wanting to draw a brought back. Could 1 or 2 copies of Black Scammers be correct? Maybe. I did have them in some of my drafts. Okay. Thopter Sword combo. Not sure how this matchup's gonna be. Happy to draw Reprieve. I really like that this deck has Reprieve, Bowmasters, and brought back, so you just have so many things you can be holding up on turn 2. Plus Ephemerate also sometimes. Is Shieldred good enough for Modern? I know it's good versus Rhinos. It's gotten better with the ring. Because it's like it's better it's better against the ring and it's better with the ring, if that makes sense. Like I think Shieldred went from being kind of like a more marginal card to being like a pretty actively good one. The name Marsh Flats. Thankfully I've got my other one in my hand here. Oh. Fair enough. And the Dark the name Ring. Maybe. If you're playing against me, naming Ring is probably fine. The Ring is, like, I think bug still. Or whatever that's worth. I bet they have a Metallic Rebuke. Although, I think now with second Ring, still have Solitude up, I'm just gonna jam. How's the bug? You just can't name it. It's, like, not on the list of nameable cards. I'm actually shocked they still haven't fixed it. I thought for sure it would have been fixed by now. Yeah, you can in Legacy. It was just bizarre. Bizarre and, like, super relevant. I'm gonna try the One Ring in Timeless Lotus. I think so. Like, just mostly because Manamo is, like, a pretty interesting inclusion there. I did a draft I was playing Hidden Strings. It looks like it's fine. My computer just randomly rebooted. And it said it was working on updates, but it didn't like really look like Windows updates. It was very odd. It was very odd. I guess we're not jamming the Shieldred into the Aether Spellbomb, but they probably have another Metallic Rebuke. And then it's like my computer like crashed. So I guess I also should have redone this. Maybe find something else to play. My computer crashed, and then it went into like a boot loop for like 3 times, and I just let it go, and then now it's back. So I don't know if this is going to be a stream that continues to work, but we'll try it for now. Tempted by the ring, huh? Alright, let's draw 2. I could maybe wait till Shieldred comes out, but doesn't really feel like this is necessarily that kind of game. Does look like... I guess I don't have enough white cards to go... Grief Ephemerate, Solitude Ephemerate, Hold Up, Reprieve, why can I not remember how to pronounce it? So let me just Grief them, and then there's a chance that I'm just like... Maybe just like we don't Ephemerate the Grief or the Solitude, depending on like what's more important here. Yeah, let's just take the Cauldra, and then... Yeah, you know what? Actually, I think that I can just not have Reprieve up here. My computer crashed. I don't know why it crashed, but I do know that it did. Oh, cool. Yeah, Reprieve. What a stack. What a stack. Don't think I want to sack the Silent Clearing. Yeah, there's nothing I can find that's really that relevant. Transmogrify attracts the Cruiser Creativity that gets to play the One Ring. The creativity is, like, it's so much better than Transmogrify, it's crazy. Like, the difference in card quality is ridiculous. I don't... Ring is really good, but it's not so good, I think, that you want to make that change. Well, now I wish I had my Reprieve. Reprieve. That being said, Shieldred is very, very good against opposing rings. No Norn. We have an Elvish Lord in the deck, and we have one main, one side. It's always so. This has been like happening so much lately, where people come in and are like, Spike, why no copy of this card that's in your deck? It's like that card is in the deck. What are we talking about? Right, not real reason to rebound that one. Okay, so we'll go Shieldred, gain 6, draw 3. Elstorm probably pretty good, no reason to attack. Why didn't you cast Shield the last turn? I talked about it when I talked about not casting Shieldred. It was like so I couldn't sack the Marsh Flats. Is that what you're wondering? Marsh Flats is needled, so that wasn't an option. Wow, that's a pretty good one. So lets them. I guess it just gains them 4 life and like taps 4 of my mana. That's pretty good. Okay, Sword of the Meek I think is beatable. I don't really have. Oh, my Shieldred just turns off. Oh wait, hold on. Does Shieldred turn off the Sword of the Meek? If a creature enters the battlefield under your control, you may return Sword of the Meek from your graveyard. It shouldn't, right? Because Elvish Lord should not care about a permanent that's in the graveyard at the time. Is my current understanding. All decks using the Ring. Yeah, the Ring is like one of the best cards in Modern, and I am trying to win the Pro Tour. Yeah, I believe that it should not stop it. No one should stop Sword. Judge. Judge. I'm pretty sure that it doesn't. I'm pretty sure that it should not. But it may be bugged. But I know that it's not supposed to turn off Cauldron Familiar, or sorry, Oval Chase Daredevil or Bloodghast. And like I feel like this would work the same way. Yeah, I'm pretty. That sounds right. Thank you to all the judges. Why does game not play One Ring? It probably should. It's like a little bit early to say like why does or doesn't, you know, any deck play the ring yet, right? Since it's just so early. But like it like probably just should. Although this may be a little bit of a better version where like I think like the white cards maybe play better with the ring than the red cards. Do you still have the deck tech in the back of my mind? Maybe I missed it. I don't remember having a deck tech. I don't even know if I like started to do one. But if you redeemed one Existus, we can get to it. Put it down to 6. I guess they can gain a lot of life with their Thopter Foundry. Give me a second, Existus. Okay, I only have one more fetchable. I also don't have a black card in my hand. Any reason to not yield to the shielded trigger? I mean, who cares? Yeah, I think they fixed the bug. So I have a lot of solitudes. My goal is like literally to solitude like 6 triggers here. Why break the ice over something like Fulminator's works are brought back? Break the ice is 2 mana Kilotron land. Fulminator is 3 mana Kilotron land, which is just too slow on the draw. It's also really hard to be like, I'm going to cast my Fulminator Mage on turn 3, and then I'm not going to activate it so I can brought it back next turn. I mean, I can also just like let them, yeah, maybe I'll just let them like put 5 blockers in front of Shieldred, so I can just brought back the Shieldred. Yeah, this seems kind of fine. Just let this happen. Brought back Shieldred, brought back Grief. Double Grief trigger. Oh, they didn't Metallic Rebuke. What the hell? Okay. You have 3 men up? I don't, because Martial Arts is Pithing Needled. Right? I am back, yeah. There was a... Like, I don't know exactly what happened, if it was a boot loop or what. They lose 3, and then they lose 2. Yeah, Shieldred being good with and against Ring definitely makes it like a cool option in the Ring meta. I think that with Sauron, you might not need to play Avalanche Riders anymore. Like, one of the main reasons you played Riders was you couldn't, like, actually close games. But this build looks like it might be able to close games. Yeah, so I think I would cut the 2 Riders for, like, 4th Mulldrifter, 4th Brought Back. You can play the Riders in the sideboard. Like, put the full 4 in there. Probably over like the Spreading Seas for sure, and then I'm not sure exactly what else. Maybe second Path to Exile. I don't know if you need 2 Path to Exiles. 2 paths could be good. Fuck. Wait, how is this in there? Oh, they tapped the ring. Wow, they actually tapped the ring. So I'm just dead, right? Ephemerate Solitude. They just make infinite mana, infinite Thopters in response. Infinite life. I have a Dam? Yeah, I have a Dam in the deck. No one blinks a combo. It doesn't. It does not blink their combo. Should have Ephemerate response to the last Shieldred trigger? Yeah, I was just like doing the deck tech, and like I didn't think that they would tap the ring. But yeah, I should have. How do you win after damming? I don't know. Probably, no, yeah, they're just at infinite life. No, just concede. Just concede. So Norn is okay against them. Not turning off the combo is obviously awkward. feel like 2 break the ice over 2 Thoughtseize. I don't know. See, it looks okay. Do you think it could have any legs? I mean, it doesn't look great, Existence. It looks really fun. It looks like maybe about as good as the other Heartless Summoning builds. I would go with Sauron over Witch King, probably. It looks very fun. I mean, turn 3 shielded on the play, and this matchup seems okay. How does it stop Thopter tokens? It stops 1 Thopter token. not something worth bringing in. Also turn 3 shielded if we draw second fetch. Grief would also be a good draw here. Solitude would be pretty good. Watch your videos. I thought Orcish Bowmasters was a scam. I mean, my evaluation of it has definitely gone way up over the last like 2 days. By trying out any new food brew soon. I've got some lists I want to mess around with. The archetype is like so hard to play or build correctly right now, I feel. Alright. Rampant growth. Too bad we didn't have archers or reprieve. I think maybe both would be. I guess that, yeah, reprieve gets around the smith. It also brought back this turn. I'm gonna slam the shielded instead. We could maybe like draw Grief or Solitude though, and use the second brought back with the Marsh Flats. We can also just save the brought back too. Stoneforge, card advantage, Mystic. Some mono white Marlis doing well. Was it from Bob? Yeah, so let's just play the Elish Thorn this turn, which will double up my Bowmaster trigger next turn if I want to, like, kill Stoneforge Mystic. Could have attacked first, but they also shouldn't change combat at all. And this does turn off Living Weapon. And also they don't have White Mana. So do we think they're ever going to double chump block here? Let's just start off by drawing card with Silent Clearing, gaining 2 life. Okay, wow. Super clean. Not too bad. I built Samwise Manufactor yet? I have a lot of drafts of Samwise combo that I'd probably will be working on them like off stream for a little while, maybe on stream, maybe, I don't know. I have some drafts, some with Manufactor, some not. Okay, it seems like not enough. Insert floppy with the 2 months, thank you. Should try Nazguls. I mean, Nazguls seem really fun, but it's like, I like the odds of like Nazguls being like Pro Tour level is like almost 0, so I just don't know that I can spend time with it right now. This may be a good like after done Pro Tour testing kind of deck. Yeah, let's get these on the draw. Just go back up to like 4 Thoughtseize. Put 1 Thoughtseize. 1 Reprieve, 3 Thoughtseize. Mono White Samwise good in Texas. Yeah, you could play the Mono White Samwise here too, maybe. Kind of forgot about that card. I mean, I played it a 1-of in the 4-color Omnath deck I played, and I boarded it out like every single time. But I also didn't draw it that often because I boarded it out every time, I guess. Could get punished by fetching Swamp if I draw brought back, but I think that that's okay. I guess I have to take the Mystic. Don't love living them with the Ring and Thopter Foundry though. The 3 years watching stream, I can't recall a single true Orzhov deck. Yeah, I remember we trophied with Edgar Charmed Groom back in the day. Yeah, but not a lot of Orzhov decks over the years. Hopefully they draw Saga, that'd be awesome. Yeah. Oh, well, they drew Sword. I wonder how many swords they're playing. Let's break the ice for Tron. Tron is like kind of popular right now. I guess so. Their hand right now is the 1 ring and a mystery card. So I'm not sure if we're slamming Ring or Norn. I guess I'll take a draw. Yeah, it's gonna be tough. We do have answers to. We do have a couple Lost Legacy that we can dig for with our own ring, and if we get a Shielder down, we're like hurting their ring a lot too. Their draw is obviously like very good this game. Okay, we have a plan. Want to get the ring done first. Off the 2 months, finishing Rift not on power level. I mean, I guess not. I don't think the card's very good right now or at all. It's not like very bad either, I guess, but it's not really a card I'm like excited to play in my decks really. Do you need to fade them drawing an Urza this turn? What the deck? Every deck plays rings to be removed. Okay, well I know that people are tuning into my stream and I'm playing ring in like most of my decks, but this is also because I think ring is like incredibly powerful and I really want to play it at the Pro Tour right now. And I'm like trying to find like different shells for it. It's not necessarily that every deck in the format is playing ring. Just every deck I'm playing is playing ring. Pretty bad if my opponent has a rebuke. Can't beat everything. Found our Lost Legend. So we're holding up Bowmasters, Ephemerate, Lost Legend, just passing. Also saw another streams. Yeah, I mean, the ring is insane. The ring is really, really... The ring is broken, but to say every deck is playing it is just hyperbolic, is all I'm trying to say. Are Rhinos playing ring? I don't think they are, but they probably should be. Yeah, it's just like one of the best cards in Modern, and it's colorless, so just like every deck gets to play it. Honestly, like I think I should probably not Lost for Legend right now or anything. I think I could Bowmasters right now. I think I'll just Bowmaster in response to ring being tapped. I think they have enough life that they can probably tap their ring, and then I get to Bowmaster and start pinging down Thopters. Why is... Oh, so this is the ETB trigger. Wow, they path the Bowmasters over Shieldred. That's amazing. And probably wrong. Ah, damn. Okay, maybe this is the ring mirror breaker. It's okay. Also, Vista over Mono Black Fetch. You play lots of basics. Well, I mean, I play 4 basics. You need to play like 6, I think, if you're gonna play Vista. I did consider it. I think you probably don't want to play it though. What do you think about Conflagrate in the ring deck? A Twiddle Ring? I don't feel like it's good. We're up against Gigantha. We do have Grief Ephemerate on the draw. It's a 1-lander. Looks a bit better. If Rhinos would play the One Ring, will you take out for them? You have a lot of flex spots. It's like your Murktides, your Delve Spells, Disputes can be trimmed on. Okay, now I wish I had the Grief Ephemerate, but I do at least have my Break the Ices in the sideboard. Is Invasion of Gobakon with Bowmaster just win more? What is the synergy of Gobakon with... Can't cut Borrowers? You can trim on Borrowers, though. You don't need to play 4. But I'm just saying that I don't know exactly what the right split is, but... Yeah, what is the synergy there? That you can ping the battle? Yeah, I think Bowmaster and Ring and Reprieve solve so many problems for this deck.
What's up? It's me, your friend, Aspiring Spike.
How are you feeling about White Betterman? I like the card. It's been impressing me, I think. Bowmaster seems good with battles. I mean, just pinging a battle for 1, is that good? It seems like pretty mediocre. Did Tron get anything good from Lord of the Rings? Yep. Did the colorless deck get... that has a lot of mana get anything good? Yep. Something's good for Tron? Yeah, for sure. Tron has become like pretty popular, and so that's kind of why I'm playing. The Break the Ices in the sideboard. Okay, let's go game 2. Lost Legend also pretty nice in this matchup. Let's go down to like 1 or 2 Solitudes. Trim an Ephemerate. 2 Ephemerates? do we like Elishnorn against them? Probably just cut it, yeah. Is Reprieve just white remand? It's better than... Reprieve is... Reprieve... Sorry, I'm so brain broken with, like, everybody... me mispronouncing it for so long, and then... the whole meme. Bowmasters is kind of okay against them. Let's keep this. Okay, so... what was even the question? Yeah, it's better than Remand, where it gets around Veil, Summer, Dispute, and uncounterable effects. Like all, and also like being a white card, like is, you know, gives it an option for decks like this that otherwise have no access to effects like this too. Midlow, the Twitch Prime, thank you. Has Tron taken a more prominent place in the meta? Yes. This has definitely been an effect of the ring. The stream crashed again earlier. It crashed one time today. I went into kind of like a boot loop. Can't pitch to Forest, but it can pitch to, you know, Solitude. But it's a little different, but it is nice. New Lightning with the Twitch Prime, thank you. Yeah, bounce a Verdict back to hand does seem pretty cool.
What's up? It's me, your friend, Aspiring Spike.
Do you think the ring might hurt Scam? The ring is like maybe the best card in Modern against Scam, or like it's one of the best cards. Like Sanctifier is better probably, but it's insanely good against them. Yeah. Is the One Ring everywhere? Not yet. I mean, I'm just playing it everywhere because I really want to play it at the Pro Tour. You know what I mean? Like I'm currently just so high on the card. It's like I've been casting it nonstop for 2 weeks, and it's been like kind of nuts every single time. Reprieving this could be okay. I think that I would rather get some pressure on my opponents by playing another Bowmasters, ephemerating a Bowmasters, and then I get to... This should be a 5/5 token, and I can do this like with Reprieve up to like buy a turn. Yeah, it's hard. They're hard to get. They're very expensive on Magic Online and in paper, and most rental services just don't have enough stock. Oh, just 4/4, sorry. Oh boy. The ice has been broken. Shouldn't you have waited for the overload? Absolutely 100% not. If we wait for the overload here, then if you wait for the overload, then you're just letting your opponent have Tron mana next turn for no reason. When we're gonna kill them in 2 turns. The overload is 6 mana. What are we talking about? Okay, they're dead if they crack that right now. Okay. Oh. There's a bundle with guaranteed ring. In paper, not on Magic Online. GG. Yeah, Needle Ring, I believe, is still bugged. Okay, thought season of remand into ring. I don't know. Say so you bring Tron. Hey, I'm currently like thinking about Tron when sideboarding or building my sideboards. When I like haven't really been doing that for a while. Yeah, I'm also kind of shocked that it's like that the needle bug hasn't been fixed. Kind of an easy stirrings there, I think. Did you play 4-ring in all versions of Reanimator? No. Oh, so they can Warping Well might break the ice. Unless they make a token? Yeah, Needle on Ring works in Legacy. It's just Modern that it's just not in the database. And like you would think that it would be like a really easy fix. Any Ring main deck board of Timeless Amulet? I've tried like a couple of kind of like creative builds. Just want to target the power plant, so if they may have to tap tower to search up the power plant, and then they have 1 less mana on the turn they get Tron. It's one of those bugs that's probably way harder. Yeah, I guess so. I guess so. But it works in Legacy, you know what I mean? Is it proof Wizards don't care about Modern? Yeah, the fact that Wizards made like a Modern legal only set is proof that they don't care about Modern. The fact that they make Lord of the Rings and and Modern Horizons is proof they don't care. We cast Lost Legend. I think we cast it against Hammer. I mostly am interested in this kind of effect over other options because it exiles the ring, or it doesn't. So it doesn't exile it, but it tucks it. This game with Bowmasters popped off. What if we just put 4 rings over Spyros? I mean, you have maybe not over Spyros exactly, but yeah, 4 rings in Scam is probably something you should do. I bet Dingo will do it soon. Maybe we'll do it. Did we not cast Lost Legend against a Thopter Foundry? I think we died before we casted that game. I played Bowmaster in response to them tapping their ring to like ping their Thopters down, but I could have lost the Legend to Thopter Foundry instead. Could have been better. Okay, they have rebuilt. We have lots of good top decks, lots of Break the Ices, discard spells. Their hand is also Ulamog, Power Plant, Mystery cards, so they don't necessarily have something they can play next turn. Pretty good draw. He likes to removal over, say, Pithing Needle. If I'm playing the ring in my deck, so I'm not going to try to answer. I'm not going to try to answer the ring with my own needles. So take their all this does tier, take Ulamog next turn. I know I clicked that really fast, but I had already like pre-decided that I am taking any card over Ulamog if they have a spell because they can't cast the Ulamog next turn, and I have the Rebound Ephemerate. Can Lost the Legend Gigantha. We're actually like somewhat likely to draw a Break the Ice. We have 4 looks at one of our 3 copies. Get to overload it. All right, Tron, back in the trade bind, back in tier 2. No. Goodbye. Yeah, why not Fulminator Mage? Yeah, I agree. This game should probably go up 1 or 2 lanes if they add the 4-drop. It's like Oko in the sense that it's just good in every deck. You know what I mean? There are some decks where you have like more synergy with Oko or the ring. There's some spots where like the ring, like if you're untapping the ring with your Twiddles, if you're untapping with your keys, if you are playing Shieldred, like the ring is better. But the ring is always good. The ring is always a good card, and you do need to have some deck building considerations with it, but you don't really need to like worry so much about it, if that makes sense. And so I guess what I'm saying is, let's cast the Grief here. Like, just because the ring is more powerful in a deck like 8-key or, so I'm gonna cast this Ephemerate now, so they draw their card before I Grief them. So I have perfect info. So I can take Hammer, Stoneforge Mystic, potentially. But then they still have another Hammer off the Saga, and it's just a disaster if they draw White Sorcerer Paladin, so we'll just take the white creatures here. Hey, on the 36, happy 3 years. Think green will be healthy for mod if it continues to see this much play? I don't, it's like too early to tell, and also, like, I'll say this, like, I currently don't care about the health of Modern. I currently care about breaking the format and winning the Pro Tour. You know what I mean? Currently, the health of Modern is not something I'm like even thinking about. Even though usually it is, just not at the moment. That being said, like the ring is still a 4-mana non-creature spell that gets got by Needle, Narset, Shieldred. Like there are ways to adjust for it. And so we may see a metagame that's like adjusted to beat it rather than one that's just completely dominated by it. Says the guy that helped balance Lord of the Rings. I mean, then I cared about the health of Modern. Right now, I don't care about it. Dingo said the ring isn't that hard to play against with Binding Needle, the Red Exile. Do you agree with this? That hard to play against. You can beat it. Yeah, I agree that you can beat it. But if you, there's also like every single card in Modern has cards that are good against it. You know what? It also like there's not a single card that doesn't have like a list of 3 things like this that are very good against it. Make a Saga token. Need to find a Solitude pretty bad. Yeah, so get 2 for 1 with the Ephemerate. Oh wait, what? Prevents all damaged. Okay, I see. Not a 2 for 1. We're kind of dead though. I qualify for the PT through DreamHack Dallas, the RC. I always forget how this card works. There's like, I always think that like it prevents damage to the player and not to the creatures. How does it work with the testing house for cards? You bring all the cards from multiple decks. Are you pre-decided? I don't know. It's my first time doing a testing house. It kind of depends. I would imagine like how prepped everybody is feeling for things. Okay, we did draw Solitude. I have to chump block though, and we have to draw another white card, and even then we're still dead. So Solitude, exile here. Then we get to brought back Solitude. We're still dead because we go exile 2 things, and the center's tapped. Okay, game 2. Well, maybe 1 turn too late, maybe not quite enough either way. I'm gonna cut the Elishnorn this time. I think, or maybe I did that last time too. Also putting 1 mana Tithe at the PT in your white deck to have them play around all game. I don't know. Did I miss lethal when they have Sentinel Ornith up to left after you put 2? No, I can only exile 2 of the 3 constructs that turn. I can't get rid of. I can't double pitch Solitude. Can I say that my PT deck will have the One Ring? I mean, not 100%, but like again, like Modern in formats, they are always in a state of ebb and flow. Right now, if the Pro Tour is tomorrow, I'm playing a deck with 4 rings for sure. The Pro Tour deck lists are due 1 month from today. 1 month is a long time. The metagame can totally be warped around beating the ring. There can be like definitely dynamic changes that make it to where if the ring is not a card you want to play, or I'm playing a deck to beat the ring. Things can change, but like if the Pro Tour is tomorrow, I'm definitely playing a deck with 4 rings. Mata with the 6 months, thank you. Yeah, we're also undefeated with Snapcaster Mage, so that could be the the bring too. Okay, deck tech for Omega. Gets to Reprieve and a Leyline Binding Domain Scapeshift Shell. We played against that, I think, or something like that. It seemed okay. How have I liked it? I like that Lost Legend is like one of the only good white spells that can tuck the ring. Beyond that, I'm not sure really how I feel, I guess. How optimistic would I be registering stock Murktide? I don't know. I wouldn't be very happy probably registering stock Murktide. But maybe happiness is overrated. I need a second Black Sword so I can get it off the Flooded Strand here. I think I will probably just use Brought Back as a Rampant Growth here. Maybe not. Yeah, we'll just try to Brought Back a Solitude at some point, I think. Yeah, can't target Saga. Although, like, so what's kind of funny about this card is in development, this, I believe that this said, or sorry, where is it? I think at first it said white, put target legendary creature or artifact on top of its owner's library. And I suggested changing it from that text, legendary creature or artifact, to historic, and like very like one for flavor, like Lost to Legend, put a historic thing, like that's like the term historic is very flavorful with Lost to Legend. Like this word historic was my my suggestion. I guess we let this resolve, let them equip once, Solitude the Paladin, take 10, then brought back a Solitude next turn. Could have also Solituded the Thopter. Just kind of worried about them drawing too many cards. And I suggested it like very specifically so it could get Ursa Saga also. Like I think being able to get rid of Saga would have been like a really nice upgrade to this card. And then they seemingly have nerfed it so it can no longer do that. No, we can actually grief this turn pretty easy. Just attack for 6. Yeah, not losing to another paladin right now because they don't have an. We could jump block even if they had the extra land for another hammer. I think the addition of non-lands probably fit people tucking random legendary lands. Yeah, I think so too. I think it's a fine change. I'm not like not sad, but the witch won't die. Don't play Dreadmore Witch if you're trying to like build a good deck, but you can play it if you want to. Maybe it's better to leave the grief back. Like Monastery Mentor is better than Sedgemoor Witch if you want to play this style of I'm going to cast this card and then boy I'm going to trigger it with my non-creature spells. Especially because like you're playing 4 Mishra's Bauble in your deck, which does not work with your Sedgemoor Witch. And also if you're going to play this sort of like, I want to play a 3-drop, and I'm going to cast some spells, and I'm going to trigger my 3-drop. If this is like where your heart is set, unearthing that 3-drop is a really good way to do that. These main deck Surge of Salvations, I don't think they really fit here. Like they make some more sense in Hammer, where you're all in on like making a big creature, right? But that's not really what you're doing here. I would, especially with Ring in the format, I'm really into 4 Thoughtseize over any number of Inquisitions. I would play the 4/3 Prive over the first Mana Tithe, but you can play 1 Mana Tithe. I would play any number of Terminate over any number of Dreadbore. On the draw, I think I'm going to keep this. We can Ephemerate this Grief twice. This hand's kind of weak to Sentinel. We also have, like, Lost the Legend. There's a Sentinel. I think I'm still Grief Ephemerating. I can pay 1 for next turn if I want. Okay, Stoneforge Paladin. I want to take the Stoneforge Mystic here, so that way, and then one of the Paladins. This way, they're not going to be able to play Saga and play like an impactful spell next turn. Yeah, I don't think I've got too many more thoughts beyond that. Conceal Courtyard in your Ragavan Channeler deck is probably incorrect. This probably should be black-red. 2 planes is definitely incorrect. Just play 1 plane. In your Terminate deck, just play 1 planes. Yeah, play more fetches too. Play at least 8. No breach. Oh yeah, you should have a breach. At least 1. Probably more. Damn. Add 4 rings. Breach is maybe better than ring here. So my opponent's hand is currently Paladin, Mystery Card. So I think I'm just going to Solitude Ephemerate now to play around another Surge. Would be nice to draw more lands at some point, but no rush on the lands. And if they don't play the Paladin this turn, I can potentially I either get to Solitude the Paladin with the rebound or Ephemerate it. Yeah, or Grief it. Sorry, that's what I meant. Yeah, so let's go ahead and Grief the Paladin. Not a black source, but it is another land. I can attack here also. Okay. Doesn't do anything yet, but obviously turns Stoneforges and Hammers into pretty deadly draws. They shouldn't attack either. They're not supposed to trade 3 damage for 3 lifelinking here. Am I supposed to attack with my Grief? Yes. Wait, no. No, they just protection. They just double block and protection, whichever thing I order first. You mentioned Dam, I need to push. Yeah, I am thinking that. I mostly wanted to play Dam in this spot because I have not cast this card in a long time. I haven't cast this card in a long time. I just I wanted to kind of refresh a little bit, but I think that there's a good chance that either the fourth, this and or the fourth brought back should be a push. Okay, so they're gonna go protection on white on the Ornithopter, I guess. Maybe we're gonna double block the construct. Yeah, double blocking the construct means I can survive if they draw a hammer for a turn, and then I'm in a spot where I'm like trying to just, you know, draw land for my 4-drops, obviously. I don't think Dam and Plains go in the same deck. Oh, we have one copy. I mean, this card is also like modally double white, but we have 2 Plains in the deck and 23 lands, and this is the only double black card. Could have held Dam too, held to Overload. I don't think that that's correct, but because, you know, it is definitely not correct when we have 3 other 4-drops in our hand. It is like 100% incorrect. I play 2 Rebirth over the Dam. Well, Rebirth is really bad in the brought back list. You know what I mean? So I don't know. There's issues, no matter how you build it. Also, like the tap lands, like the tapped MDFCs with all the 4-drops have issues as well. Only double black card. 4 mana double black cards and 2 mana double black cards are really, really different. Like when I'm like, these are not issues to cast at all. In fact, it is actually impossible with the way the deck is currently built to be unable to cast Shielded on turn 4 because we only have 2 lands that tap for that don't tap for black in the deck, right? The only lands that don't tap in the black for black in the deck. Oh, I think my raging so hard, my Magic Online crashed. It is literally impossible to be unable to cast Shielded with the way the deck is currently configured, right? So that's just like not worth talking about. We have 2 Plains in Engajo. Oh, I forgot about the Engajo. So it's okay, not literally impossible, but also could be literally impossible if you wanted to build it that way. How can Izzet combo beat Leyline of the Void? You can just attack them with Ragavans and Shredders, but you can also splash for Teferi, Wear Tear, which is something a lot of players do. So what's great here is that like, we're even beating a top decked Hammer. Squishy with the Twitch Prime, thank you. Doom with the 3 years, thank you as well. Are you almost always tapping the ring as much as you can? I found situations where tapping was incorrect. Not yet. If that situation exists, I ain't found it yet. Yeah, they did top deck the Hammer, and then like almost just doesn't matter. Yeah, I watched that. I watched one of the leagues Doom. That deck was really sweet. So I guess we lose 2 on our upkeep, down to 1, up to 3, up to 7. So we ping this. Hold on, sorry. So we have 7 toughness to block here, and then we can gain a life off the silent clearing. So I guess I maybe should have done this first. They have nothing in hand, so we're not going to grieve. Just going to pass back. Can you Bowmaster your own Bowmaster and bring it back? You can, yeah. I don't think that that's going to be a line that comes up very often, but you can. Okay, taking 6 damage like this. Taking 6 down to 5. Losing 3. Play Shielder, get it all back. Yeah, they definitely should have hammered on the Ginger Brute. Seem worth the hold up brought back? Maybe. Don't think I need to hold up brought back here though. I guess discard Swamp over. Or like a brought back is probably a bit better. It doesn't really matter though. Yeah, so let's go Solitude. Ephemerate. Maybe this is bad because we're setting ourselves up to maybe being dead to Hammer. Or sorry, to Inkmoth. This would require us drawing nothing impactful in 6 cards, though. But I guess that's the only way we lose is to the Nexus, so I probably am supposed to not Solitude there. Well, now I can just talk Enuma back Solitude if I don't find anything else. Break the Ice, the Inkmoth. Cool. Okay, 3-1 with our first league of the deck. Lost to the Thopters were keep. Nighttime Extreme with the tier 1 for 3 months. Thank you. Help me get that 70-30 ad split. Okay, well, we have 4 Break the Ice on our sideboard. Maybe steal a game 1 sometimes. How many subs do you need for 70-30? I think you need 350 paid subscribers for the 70-30 split for 3 months in a row. This is something I right now very easily have and have had for a long time. But the problem is that I'm going to lose a lot of subscribers when I go to Europe for the PT. I'll be taking a lot of time off, and I'm going to be for the testing house and for the vacation with Esther. So it's going to be kind of tough. I don't know. Oh no, there's Tron. Tron plus payoff, gross.
You probably don't want the rest of my coffee, huh?
No, I'm so wired already.
Yeah.
So it's ultimately not that big a deal either way, but it is also a really big deal. And if you could stay subscribed during July, even if I'm not streaming as much, that would be sick. That would be really nice. Ever get any offers from Kick? No, I haven't. Alright, let's go to game 2. We just know they have card in their hand. We've got nothing. Do prime subs? Yeah, prime subs don't count. Obviously, prime subs help me out, and I'm thankful for your prime sub. But as far as the number that you have to get, you get the 70-30 split from those stuff once you achieve it. But as far as how you get into the program, prime subs don't do anything. I thought about changing to Kick to get a better share. Not seriously. At the very least, it seems like on Kick you can make a lot of money if they offer you a lot of money because they're trying to grow their platform, or if you do gambling content because Kick is a site funded by sketchy cryptocurrency casinos. So it's I think more competition in the creator space is good. I don't think it makes any sense for a Magic streamer to go over there right now. There's really not a lot of could have kept Grief Ephemerate. I think we want a mulligan, and I'm happy to have mulliganed into double Break the Ice. But yeah, it's mostly just I mean, the reason they're able to offer their splits and offer XQC $100 million or whatever the crazy number was. It's just because they just have infinite gambling money. Alright, Finks with the 5-pack. Get wrecked with the gifted sub. Thank you. Ken with the Twitch Prime. 12 with the Twitch Prime. Thank you. -1 Ice, -1 Sanctifier for 2 Hearse. What do you want to target with Hearse? What do you mean? Obviously, Magic is a game of chance. What do you mean? What are we talking about? Okay, I can respond to Chromatic Sphere with Bowmasters. You can't respond to... Oh, no, you can't. Sorry, I got it backwards again. You can't respond to this one. It's a mana ability. Damn it. Although, I got rewarded. I got rewarded! What is this doing here? We already overlaid Break the Ice once. So they have a mine and 2 more towers in their hand. Let's actually hold the Break the Ice to kill the mine. Design of the 9 months. And then we can let this go. Maybe think I'm Hammer. Yeah, I actually can't remember what I showed them game 1. But you're right, it wasn't a ton. Bowmaster's been very good. I think I definitely under-evaluated it during my, like, set review video. Deborah, 13 months. Card I've been most disappointed with. We can, I guess this is kind of a time walk. We'll cast one of our 2. If I didn't have 2, maybe I'll let this go. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Nothing is immediately coming to mind. But I've also been mostly playing with rings, you know what I mean? Oh man, it's so satisfying. Finds Haywire Mites. Yeah, I would have ephemerated for more damage either way. Like the plus 2 damage on this is like very valuable to raise, but if we get to kill another Haywire Mite, it's even better. Kind of weird they didn't crack map first and then get another Tron piece, but maybe they're waiting to draw the other piece. Don't think I'm supposed to reprieve the Warping Whale. Thoughts on Bowmaster and Yogg? I think it looks really good there. I don't know if like 4 in the main deck is always correct or whatever, but it seemed pretty good. Guess we're probably in fetch to thin territory. Pretty good draw. Could be correct to Grief here. I think I'm supposed to get the ring going though. Just like the longer you wait on it, the worse it is, right? And if they have Karn, they're probably Karn minusing. I get to attack the Karn. They do have the Karn. This deck feels like it lacks some closing speed. I mean, that's why we have the Break the Ices in the sideboard, because it's like you're not wrong. We do have Bowmasters and Griefs, and this is also a control deck. So I'm thinking of it as a control deck. Okay. Let me take my draw. Oh baby. Okay, so we get to go. Bowmaster, kill the sphere, make the orc a 4/4, put the Karn down to 2, Grief Gigantha, and so when they minus the Karn, we get to like tap the ring. What about Blood Baron of Vescopa or Obsidat for some closing power? 5 drops, 5 drops are not closing power. Can you beat a bridge? No. Fuck. Oh yes, well if they minus the Karn to get bridge, then my ring is unlocked, which I can beat with Lost to Legend. And Shieldred. But if there's Karn in play, I would maybe not be able to beat it. How about Rotting Regisaur? That card's not modern playable. Again, it's like we're a control deck. It's okay that we are a little bit slow. Okay, so the Ephemerate lets me draw step the Grief. Does it ever get exhausting having chat suggest the one perfect card for deck all the time? I mean, sometimes, but like also chat has like really good suggestions enough of the time that it's worth it. You had 1 turn lethal with Ephemerating Bowmasters. It is so much better to Ephemerate the Grief and not get got by any top decks, I think. Like, we get to untap and draw, like, 5 cards, you know what I mean? Let's go to game 3. So we don't have Break the Ice. Do have Reprieve. Lost Legend's not as good on the draw because you can't hit the map. Probably like a hand you keep on the play mulligan on the draw. And then wish you had that 7 back probably. Follow your dreams. Think of it 4 months. Hope you're doing well.
What's up? It's me, your friend.
Is Mage not playable in the shell? No. It's just so much worse to break the ice. Like you again. The thing is also with Fulminator is that you can't ever wait till turn 3 to cast Fulminator, and then like try to untap with your Fulminator Mage, and then brought it back. You like have to use it immediately. It's just way too slow. Yeah, Children and Bowmasters also close games fast. Like the whole like closing speed comment isn't even like really that true. It's like a little true though. We looked at mono black ring shielded. Yeah, we've played coffers. I think that like the problem with mono black ring coffers is that like you just can't answer Pithing Needle, and I know Needle is bugged, but like you just can't get rid of it. And then like this version also has a hard time answering Needle, but like we maybe need to like one more answer to it in the sideboard. But that's like something I've been concerned about, and so like splashing white in general will give you answers. I'm just not sure how many answers you need to play. Fulminator is decent against 4 color. Fulminator is awful against any deck playing 4 Wrenn and 6. Probably losing this game. Belted Ring Amulet seems like okay, but like not the best shell. Fracture is good enough answer Needle. Well, yeah, I mean you Fracture, Lost to Legend, whatever. But I think whatever you play, it like an exile effect is nice, so that it can deal with opposing rings. Is Ring really as busted as it looks? No, it's better. Just another tower for now. Gonna get a Ballista maybe? Ballista's a 5/5. I should main phase it so I can't brought back the Grief. Oh, 6, 5/5. Do you have an Asmo Flame of an Orbrew? No. Don't think you're really incentivized to play those 2 cards together. Okay, 3-2. 3-2. Feeling good about the break the ices in the sideboard, but couldn't carry me this game. Did beat Toronto earlier this week because of them in one game. Like I think every game we won against Toronto is because we had to break the ices. I want to play some more of the list. I think I do want to cut the dam for at least the first push. Magical Line has been like crashing pretty constantly for me today. I think I'm gonna go down to Thoughtseize and down the dam for 2 pushes. Also, I think I have them rented already. Is it really that good? It's better.